Hey guys, I'm back with another tutorial. This is the Hey Good Lookin hat with a matching scarf in another video. So the hat measures 10 inches wide and about 8 inches from crown to the brim. Now this stitch doesn't give this hat a lot of like stretch. It will give a little bit, but not much. So if you want to make your hat just a little bit bigger, so whenever in the video I start with a chain of 60, but if you need to go a little bit bigger, I just keep adding 2. So 62, 64, 66. And then when we get to the decrease, your stitch count's going to be off, and you may have a little more to close at the top, but it'll work. It'll come out beautiful. Anyhow, so if you're just making the hat with me today, you're going to need 1 skein of Red Hearts Hello Gorgeous. See what I do with the name? I like the name, so I thought, well, I'm just going to call the hat Hey Pretty Lady. Anyhow, you're going to need 1 skein of this and a 6mm hook. I can't see if it's even focusing. Anyway, 6mm hook and 1 skein of Hello Gorgeous Red Heart yarn. The color I used is Orange Blossom. Now, in the video, see, like this is my prototype hat, but in the video, I actually make a whole nother hat with you guys, and I ran out of my scrap yarn. So I wanted to show you the yarn I finished it with is called Sedona. Man, is that pretty. I should have just, made the whole hat in that, but I thought I was going to have enough, and I didn't. So anyhow, if you're just making the hat with me, get your yarn, get your 6mm hook, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with a chain of 60. And I've got my 60 chains done. And I'm going to bring that around. Make sure it's not twisting at all. And I'm going to slip stitch to the first chain. Bring it through and chain 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work 1 single crochet all the way around, and we should have 60 singles. So I'm going to work right back into that first chain that I slip stitched to. Oop. And then into the next, and then keep going around till I get 60 single crochet. So keep going, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Alrighty, I'm coming back around. Single crochet in this one. And I wanted to show you guys so you don't get confused. This is your last chain right here. And then this, it kind of looks like your chain, but it's not. It's your slip stitch. Here's your chain 1, and here's your first single. So when you single crochet in every chain all around, when you come to the end, you should have 60. Excuse me. If you have 61, you may have single crocheted into your slip stitch. So just keep count and try to, make sure you didn't work into that. So we have our slip stitch, chain 1, and our first single. So we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet and chain 1. Excuse me. Okay, so now we chain 1, and we're going to turn. Just turn everything around. Now, with the color changes in this yarn, I'm going to take this off so I can show you better. The color changes in this yarn, it's kind of easy to see where I want you guys to work into. If you're working this in a solid, it may be a little trickier, but You can do it. I'm telling you. Stick with me. So we chained one, and if you look, the stitch that we chained one, the single crochet that we slip stitched to, we're going to work all around everything we just did and work a single and a double. Okay. So now, if you angle that a little bit, we're going to skip the next stitch and work a single and a double into the next. We're going to single and double. Skip the next one and work a single and a double into the next. Single and double. Skip, single, and a double. Skip, single, and a double. Skip, single, and double. So I'm going to go ahead and work that, and then I'll meet you guys back here towards the end. Okay, so I made it back around and I have 3 stitches left. My camera stopped bouncing. And I'm going to skip this one, work my single and my double into this one. So go in, work my single and my double. And I'm going to skip this, and I'm going to slip stitch into our first single. Now we should have 60 stitches still all the way around. And we're just going to keep repeating that. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. And right back into that same single crochet that we slip stitched into, we're going to work a single and our double. And then, carry on like normal. Skip the next stitch, which is the double, and go into that single with our single and our double. Skip, single, and our double. Skip, single, and our double. Skip, single, and our double. I'm going to work this around again, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to finish the round and then start the next round one more time. And then we'll talk about how many rounds we're going to do. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've made it back around, and I bumped my camera again. I have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip the next stitch, which is a double. So we skip that, single, and double into the next. Or skip that, work a single and a double into the next. And then we're going to skip this stitch and slip stitch back to the beginning. Chain 1, and we're just going to turn everything around. And then right back into that single crochet that we just slip stitched to. We're going to go all around everything we just did and work our first single and double set. And that's the repeat. We're just going to keep going around and around, and I'm going to keep going, and I'll come back and I'm going to tell you how many rounds I did. A single and a double. Skip the next single. So every single and our single and double set is going to go into the single crochet from the previous row, and every time we skip, we're skipping a double. So that's the premise for the whole pattern. So I did my single and my double, skipping the double into the single with a single and a double. Skip the double and into the single with a single and a double. Skip the double into the single with a single and a double. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and work this for a few rounds. I'm gonna come back and let you guys know how many I've done. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So I repeated round 2 for 18 times. So you should have a total of 19 rounds now, including, you know, your 18 of the pattern and then your single crochet round. So now we're going to start decreasing for the crown of the hat. And that is going to be round 20. And oh, I ran out of my scrap yarn for this project because I had used up most of it for my actual prototype of the hat. But that's okay. Okay. And in case you want to know, the new color I added is called Sedona. It's really pretty. Okay. All right, so for round 20, we're going to just go ahead and chain 1, turn like usual. We're going to single and double into that same one that we just slip stitched to, just like you always have been. Single and double into the next single. So what we're going to do is we're going to work this single and double into the first 4 single crochets. So we're going to have 4 sets. So 1, 2, 3, need some slack, and then 4, all right, so what we're going to do into the next single is work 1 double crochet. So basically how we're decreasing this is just taking away the single crochets that we work into. Okay, so in the next double, the next single, just like normal, is going to get a single and a double. So we're going to work another 4, and then into the next single, 1 double. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now into our next single, we're just going to work a double. All right, so into the next single, we're going to start over with 1 set, 2, 3, gotta get some slack, 4, and there's our 4th. So we're gonna make sure. So there's that lonely double. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next single gets 1 double. So then we into our next single, we're going to work with our first set. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There's our lonely double. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double into the next single. So you guys go ahead and work that around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. All right, I'm almost to the end, to the beginning here. So there's my double. There's 1 set, 2, skip, 3, got a little fuzz there, and there's my 4th. So skip this double into my single, 1 double crochet. Skip my double, and I'm going to go right into my first single crochet of the round and slip stitch. And I should have 54 stitches at the end of that round. And that was round 20. So for round 21, start like normal, chain 1, and then we're going to turn. We're going to work the same thing again. We're going to work 4 single double crochet sets, and into the next single 1 double crochet. So the one we slip stitched into, we're going to work our single and double just like normal. So this is a double and this is a double. So we're going to skip both of these because remember this pattern, we only work into the single crochets. So skip and skip this double into the single crochet. We're going to single and double. So that's 1, 2, skip your double, here's your single, 3, skip your double into your single, that's 4. So we skip that double right there into the single, we're going to work a double because we had our 4 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our double. Something's all offset here. Okay. So we're going to keep doing that, but we're always going to skip that double, like right here. There's a double and a double. So we're going to skip, skip, and into the single, work our single and our double. So that's 1, skip the double into the single, 2, that's 3, skip the double into the single is the 4th. Alright, so the next single gets 1 double, so we're going to skip, skip into that single, work 1 double crochet. So now we skip the double and we're going to start our set. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip that double and that double. 4. So there's our lonely little double right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So into the next single, 1 double. So go ahead and work that, and then I'm going to meet you back at the beginning. Alright, so I'm about done with this row. I dropped my hook. Okay, so there's my lonely double. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. So the next single gets a lonely double. We start our sets over again. So into the single, work your single and double. So that's 1. Now here we've got 2 doubles, so we're going to skip those doubles and straight into that single with a single and a double. So that's 1, 2. Oop, don't yarn over. There's our 3rd set. Skip the double into the single, with our 4th set, and that also is the end of this round. So skip the double into our first single crochet. We're going to slip stitch, and that is the end of round 21, and you should have 40. All right, I'm at the end of round 21. So I'm going to slip stitch to my first single, and you should have 44 stitches. So for round 22, we're going to chain 1 just like normal. We're going to turn. But this time we're going to work 3 sets. So the beginning of this one is going to be like the beginning of every other round with a single, just like we have, and a double in the first. Split that. And into the next single, a single and a double. Oh. And then to the next single, our 3rd set. So that's 1, 2, 3 sets. So now we do our lonely little double into our next single. So we have 1, 2, 3 sets, our lonely double. So into the next single, into the next single, we're going to work our, for Pete's sake, into the next single, we're going to work our first set. 1, skip your doubles, happens to be 2 here, into the next, our 2nd set, 1, 2, so into the next single, it's our 3rd set. So the next single gets the lonely double. I gotta fix my yarn, guys. It fell off the table. Just a second. Alright, so we've stopped out that lonely little double. Into the next single, we're going to start our next set. So there's 1 set. There happens to be 2 doubles, so we're going to skip those. Go into the single with our 2nd set. Turn. Alright, so there's a double, so into the next one is our 3rd set. So into the next single gets the lonely double. And that's what we're going to repeat all around. Work 3 sets. 1, 2, 3, and then your lonely double into the next. Singles, remember, only singles, so skip every double. So like right here, there's 2 doubles right here, so we're going to skip both of those. So go ahead and work around, and I'll meet you at the beginning. Alrighty, so I made it to the end of round 22, and my last stitch that I'm working for this round is the lonely double, and then I'm going to slip stitch to my first single crochet of the round, on camera of course. And at the end of this round you should have 35. So we're moving on to round 23. We're going to start like normal, chain 1, turn our work. We're going to work our single and our double into the first. So there's our single and our double. So for this round, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to work 3 sets and then the lonely double. So there's our first set. Now here's 2 doubles, so we got to skip those. Skip, skip. So there's our first set. This is our 2nd set. Into the next single gets our 3rd set. Into the next single gets our lonely double. So the first set, we're going to skip these 2 doubles. Into the next single gets our first set. Next single is our our second set. That was a half. Into the next is our third set. So the next single gets our lonely double, but look right here, we got to skip these two doubles. So we're going to do our lonely little double in there. Skip this double. We're going to start our set over, our 3 sets over again. So there's 1, 2, there's 2 doubles we got to skip. So into the single gets our third set. Was that right? Yeah. There's our lonely 1, 2, 3 sets. So the next single gets our lonely double. So go ahead and work. Oh, right there. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. So there's our lonely double. So we're going to start our 3 sets again. 1. There's 2 doubles, so we got to skip those. 2. Skip our double, and into our last single crochet of the round is our third set of 3. So single and a double. Alrighty, so that was round 23, and we should have 27 stitches. I have a huge knot. Okay, so we should have 27 stitches. So to end this round 23, we're going to slip stitch to our first single, just like we have. Slip stitch, chain 1, and turn. All right, so now we're on to round 24. So instead of working 3 sets, we're going to work 2 sets. So just like the beginning of every round, go right back into that single that we slip stitch to and work our first single double. So there's 1, into your next single is our second set. So into the next single gets the lonely double. 1. So, essentially what we're doing is we're eliminating all those singles. Let's see, so we did 1, 2, our lonely, into the next single, start our first set. So there's 1. Now we gotta skip 2 doubles here. So into this next single gets our second set. 1 and 2. So there's 2 sets. So the next single gets the lonely double. So into the next single, we're going to start our 2 sets again. 1. There's 2 doubles, so skip that one. Into the next single gets our second set. Oop, missed that. And 2. My yarn's all tangling up. It's getting harder. It's getting smaller. All right, so that was our second set, right? Yeah, 1, 2. So into the next single, right here, we're going to work our lonely little double. There. Okay, so into the next single, we're going to start our set. So there's a 1 set. Next single gets our second set. We skip 2 doubles. There's our second set. So skipping that double, our last single crochet of the round gets our lonely little double. And there's that. So at the end of this round, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, exactly 20 stitches all the way around. Alrighty, to end round 24, we're going to slip stitch back to our first single right here. I got the squeaks. Okay, so now chain 1 and turn. So for round 25, instead of working the 2 sets, then the lonely double, we're going to work 1 set and then the lonely double. So into our very first, just like every other round, we're going to work our single and our double right back into that first single that we crochet, or that we slip stitch into. So there's my first set. So the next single crochet gets the lonely double. The next single crochet gets our set. The next single crochet gets our lonely double. The next single crochet, you can see right there, gets our set. 1 and 2. Alright, so the next single crochet gets the lonely double. We're skipping 2 doubles right here. And the next single crochet gets our set. So here's 2 doubles, so the last single crochet gets our lonely double crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch to close. Now for that round, you should have, I'm going to count this on off camera so I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches. Okay, that was the end of round 25. So 26, and our last round, we slip stitched. We're going to chain 1, and now what we're going to do is we're going to work a single crochet decrease all around. So for that, we're going to go into, we're not going to work into our single crochet that we slip stitched into. We're not going to do that anymore. All we're going to do is go into your first stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next one, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So there's 1, go into the next, pull up a loop, into the next, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Go into the next, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3. I'm just going to stay with you on this. It's getting really hard. Go into the next, pull up a loop, into the next, pull up a loop. You got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I think we got 1 more or 2. Go into the next, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Go into the next, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, which I think may have been a slip stitch. That's okay, because that's the last one we're going to do. We're going to pull through 3. And now I'm just going to go into the top of the next stitch, which actually I think that's the slip stitch. So we're going to go into the top of our first decrease right here, and we're going to slip stitch, chain 1. Now pull good 1.5 foot of a tail through, snip, pull it, pull tight. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this tail and we're going to run it through this hole to close that up better. Alright, so I'm going to take my long tail, put it on my needle, what I'm gonna back this out a little bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start going in and out through each stitch. In this one, out the next. Everything's focused on out the next. In and out. Now what I'm going to do is pull that tight, run it through, weave in my ends, which doesn't matter how you guys do this, just hide your ends. I am working around that hole because I want to keep it nice and tight and closed. I'm going to snip. And there you go. There's your hat. Weave in your ends. That's where I had to add. But there you go, guys. Even with all my crazy colors. Well, I hope you guys enjoy. Leave me a comment, poke that like button, hit the subscribe. Let me know what you think, guys. I appreciate you watching and all your kind words. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.